organizational growth. She's received awards including the 50 Under 50 Female Trailblazers in the Middle East and Africa. And as a passionate entrepreneur and philanthropist, she's dedicated to making a lasting impact through her work in real estate and empower initiatives. I am so excited to hear Shalvah speak. Super excited to hear what she has to say about the laws of leadership. I know that's something that we all definitely will need to hear. Shalvah, over to you.
Are you able to hear me? Can you see me? Is everything okay? I'm depending on you to give me some feedback. So I hope you can see me. I hope everything's okay on your end and I'm quite visible. So we're talking about the law of leadership, and ideally I'm talking about spiritual wellness and understanding your purpose. What is your purpose in life? And we're going to be centering on identity and purpose. So in a nutshell, my name is Shalvah Sitemba, and I'm currently based in Zambia, South Africa, and the US. That's where my holdings are. I'm an investment consultant, a philanthropist, an entrepreneur, and a global speaker. And I happen to be a minister of the gospel, so I'm a prophet. And it's a very exciting season for me to be here and to be part of the women that are making change makers around the world. And I'm thankful for Nancy for opening up this platform to so many women from around the world. And so we're going to delve into it very quickly. I'm talking about understanding your identity, but
also about you.
Can you hear me?
No, we can't. The sound is really bad on YouTube. Are you able to readjust your phone, your device, just so that we can hear you a bit better?
Let me see. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, perfect. So I said my name is Shalvah Sitemba, and I am a global speaker, a renowned speaker around the world. I'm a philanthropist, an entrepreneur, and a full-time minister of the gospel. So we're going to be talking about understanding identity and owning your story. So the key part of being a leader is really understanding your identity and owning your story. You can only become an effective leader once you understand who you are. And that's what we're delving into this afternoon. If you're in America, it's this afternoon. If you're in Africa, it's this evening. Depending on where you are in the world, we're going to be talking about that. And so it's time for women to really understand their identity. And if you're going to be a change maker, if you're going to be a woman that is based in generational legacy or generational wealth or making effective changes in the world, you need to be a woman who truly understands her identity. Every change maker, from the likes of Maya Angelou, the likes of Mother Teresa, they all understood their identity. They understood what their purpose was. And the key thing in bringing about change is understanding identity. So you may ask, okay, so Shalvah, what is identity? Simply meaning identity is your beliefs, your personality traits, your appearance, and your character. That's what identity means. And your identity emerges as you grow in life. Having an identity gives you a belonging, okay? It gives you confidence, and overall, it gives you well-being. So identity speaks of your value. Identity speaks of your integrity. Identity speaks about your physical appearance. But I want to bring identity in a form that you understand that understanding your identity and owning your story is owning your brand. As a leader, you have to understand that you are a brand. You're not just a leader, but you're a brand as a whole. I hope you can hear me clearly. Are you able to hear me? Am I audible? Okay, I think I'll go on. So understanding that you are an identity, that, you know, as much as you're an identity, you're a brand as a whole. So when you understand that you have religious values, you have gender values, you have a cultural identity, all these sum up into you owning your story, okay? So understanding your story is communicating your vision. The vision that you have is understanding your story. It's owning your story. And when you understand your story, you become an effective leader. One of the key principles of leadership is owning your story. One of the key principles of leadership is understanding your identity as an individual. We're talking to women who are empowered here. We're talking to a woman who's effective changes in her life, a woman who's causing changes in the environment where they're in. And so to be effective, you have to become an effective communicator. An effective communicator of the vision that God has given you and the vision that you have in terms of who do I want to be? What do I want to leave behind? When people think, who is Nancy? When people people who think, who is Strategic Solutions Global? What are we as an entity? What do we bring to the table? So discovering you and discovering your purpose is cardinal in being a great leader, in having the principles of leadership. This is the key principle we're going to be looking at today, because without this principle, you can't be an effective leader. Okay? So when you realize that you've been rejected by the world, not everybody is accepting of who you are, not everybody understands what you bring to the table. How do you identify with still remaining at a place of purpose? How do you still understand the identity that you've been given by God? And ideally, a lot of us as leaders are struggling with identity. We're living in a time when we really don't understand the seasons that we're in. We don't understand what is happening around us. And the power of owning your story is coming with acceptance. And acceptance comes at an expense. You have to accept everything that you have gone through. You have to be accepting of every season in life that you've almost endured, and everything that you've gone through. Identity emerges from you understanding in your younger years, who am I? As I grow, as I continue to evolve, who will I be? Because the principle of leadership is anchored on you understanding who you are and what your purpose on earth is. So there are three cardinal letters. There's the C, the D, and the F. I call them the CDF, which is the consistency, the discipline, and the focus. If you're going to be an effective leader, you have to be consistent. An effective leader is someone that is consistent in how they carry themselves, consistent in their values, consistent in their principles. One of the key principles in leadership is consistency. The other principle is discipline. As a leader, as an effective leader, as a woman, as a she-hero, as a woman that is championing change, a woman that is championing empowerment, have you effectively understood the key word, which is discipline? Because one of the principles of being a leader is being disciplined. How disciplined are you? Are you there to serve the people? Are you there for money? An effective leader is one that understands that you have to be impactful. So you were created on this earth to make impact. Going through the cycles of life, it teaches you that you have to have focus. Remember, I said the key three principles are consistency, discipline, and focus. But the essence of you having consistency, the essence of you having discipline, the essence of you being focused is so that you can be impactful. When you were created, what makes you different is your field. What you identify as a brand is what you bring to the table. What sets you apart is who do you identify to be? What are you doing that has set you apart as a leader? Are you effecting changes in the places where God has put you? So who are you? How do you define leadership? What are your requirements for leadership? As a woman on this platform, as a woman watching this today, what defines you as a leader? What is your prerequisite of being a leader? You see, a leader is one that has dominance. They understand that they have to dominate their field. A leader is not somebody that is competent, but somebody that understands capacity. A leader builds capacity in order for those who are under the vision, those who are coming to grow with this vision, are there and are able to find that capacity to do what they were sent to do as a part of being in your vision. And a great leader is one that raises leaders. So one, you must remember that a leader has to be accepting of the call. The leader has to understand that they were called to serve. And if you're going to be an effective leader, you have to understand the principle of the first thing that matters in leadership is where are you drinking from? What cup do you drink from? For me, I'm very spiritual, and my religion, I'm Christian. So one thing that I focus on is the principles of the Word of God. This is what governs me. But for everyone, we have people from different religions, from different spheres of life, and so they are anchored on something. And so as a leader, you have to understand that there has to be a well of wisdom. There has to be mentors that bring you along. But you also have to think beyond your professionalism. You have to think legacy. And thinking legacy simply means that you're concerned about what happens after you die. You're concerned about what happens after that vision you have has preceded you. You see, people in life that continuously are able, even if they die today, the vision is able to go along. It's people who've understood that the vision is just not only for me. It is for those that God has sent me to serve. And the essence of spiritual wellness is understanding servitude. The essence of leadership and the principle of leadership is servitude. You cannot be a leader if all you one to serve is yourself. A leader was sent to serve people. So your story, everything that you've been through as a leader, the principles that govern you, everything that you've done to identify who you are, how you carry yourself, those are the things that impact and connect you to society. If you're going to be a woman that is known globally, if you're a woman that's going to make impact globally, you have to be concerned about society. You have to be concerned about being a captain of your industry. And every woman that has spoken here today, she's spoken in the sphere that she's more well versed in. Some of them have spoken in the area of finance. Some of them have spoken in the area of physical wellness. Why? Because they're versed in that particular area. They may be competent in the thing, but they've gone above and beyond to learn that there's more to my competency. You have to create capacity. And you have to understand what defines me away from my qualification. A leader has to be multifaceted. The principle of being a leader is just not only owning your story or owning your identity, but it's being multifaceted in the things that God has placed you in what environment you are. Are you a nurse? Are you a doctor? Are you a strategist? Are you a consultant? But how effective are you in that industry? So you must understand something, that we have people who have understood identity, and identity unlocks potential. So the key to success is you having potential. The key to success is you having understood that, my potential is unlocked when I understand fully what kind of a leader I want to be and what kind of a leader I want to raise other leaders to be, because it's about impact. So understanding your identity in Christ will place you above situations. Understanding your identity in regards to spiritual wellness will bring you to a place where you don't worry about anything. You're at a place of peace. You understand that there's so much more that the world needs. I have so much more to offer the world, and I cannot be bothered by the simple things like being uncomfortable. As you grow your brand, especially for SMEs, for women that are small and medium enterprises, you understand that being in business is not easy. There are moments when you fail. There are moments when you get up and you try again. But the essence of being a great leader is understanding that even if I fall, I pick myself up and I continue to do the work that which I was created for. So identity is one of the key principles in leadership. We have identity, we have consistency, we have discipline, and we have focus. But one of the key things to success is having a mindset of a leader that isn't materialistic. Yes, it's good for us as leaders to chase after money. It's good for us as leaders to want remuneration. But let me tell you something. There is something that is called a network. The reason why we're here and we're speaking on global platforms from around the world is because of a network. Nancy has established a network of women that you don't have to, Nancy doesn't have to be in South Africa. She doesn't have to be in Zambia. She has women who have collaborated with her and have vision and are pushing the same agenda. And she's understood that if we have to make impact, if we have to make change, we need other leaders. So as a leader, you have to have room to have other leaders come along with you. The moment you give your life to understanding the principle of leadership, the principle of harnessing your potential, your principle of you leaving an inheritance for those that you're leaving behind, because generational legacy, generational wealth is all about what do you leave behind? What are people inheriting from you? What is coming as a result of you being a leader? You need to maximize your potential in this generation and for generations to come. Those are the kind of women leaders that we are raising in I Am Change. The essence of this conference is for us to effect changes around the world, for us to have one voice. There is so many voices, and that is the essence of leadership. Effective leadership in this end times is understanding identity, it's understanding purpose, and owning your story. It's realizing that your life will speak volumes. That as people who watch the kind of leader that you are, whether it's be in business, whether it be in ministry, whether it be in your career, you may be a life coach, you may be a fitness coach, but it's how you present yourself as a brand, it's how your principles align with your brand, that people are able to recognize what kind of impact you're making. We're at a time in life where there's nothing greater than self-esteem. A great leader, the other principle you're going to have to understand as a leader is self-esteem. You have to carry yourself in a way that you're assertive and that you are bold, because no one wants a leader that's pushover. Nobody wants a woman that doesn't understand the vision that she's running with. So effective leaders, effective women, they understand that right now it's a time when you understand what is the message. What message am I putting across? I may be sending suits like Norma in South Africa. I have a clientele. When we put out a suit, what are we sending to the masses? I may be a lady that's processing organic food. I may be a lady in agriculture, sustainable agriculture. Have I understood sustainable agriculture? Am I learning from those in different places around the world? How can I give back in my community? Leaders who are effective are leaders who understand social and economic sustainability. Are you sustainable as a leader? Because there's a lot of women that start visions. There's a lot of women that have purpose. A lot of women that have identity. But one thing we're lacking is sustainability in business, sustainability in life. The brand starts out very well, but it collapses because you have not found a place of sustainability.
I really like that. Shalvah, I have a question for you. In your journey, in terms of really defining, how have you gone about finding your tribe in this journey of leadership that you've been on? Because you've told us so many amazing things about consistency and discipline, but I'm sure you have a tribe. And how did you go about finding them? I'm sure people at home would love to find out as well.
Okay, so one of the key things in finding my tribe is I found people's values that aligned with mine. Being a woman of God, it wasn't easy, but also I'm a corporate woman, so I deal a lot with Muslims, with Hindus, with Buddhists. One of the key things I need to understand is that I'm a peculiar person, I'm a peculiar Christian, and so in every sphere that I went with those whose values aligned with mine. They didn't necessarily have to be Christian, but we had one or more interests that we were all aligned with. A lot of the people that we've done work with as the foundation have been people who are concerned with SDGs, people who are concerned with civic engagement. So as long as something aligned with what was in my purpose, what was in my vision, I aligned with people who were change makers. I'll give you an example of Nancy, for instance. Nancy and I met at an event where I was a speaker and she was a speaker. And we realized that we had one voice. And as much as our vision wasn't exactly the same, we had so many identifying factors that seemed similar. And we understood that in as much as I was in Africa and she was in America, we could benefit with each other, learning from each other. So my network and connecting to my network, one has of God. God sends you the right people and the right help. But also I've learned to find that which isn't in me and is in other people and identify that I want to learn from that. I want to be mentored in that area. I want to see what they can teach me and how if I sit under them, it can open up an avenue in a certain area where I'm not well versed. So it's not necessarily about understanding everything, but knowing that there are those who have gone ahead of you and they have something to offer.
Thank you so much, Shalvah. That was absolutely brilliant. I really, really appreciated that. Thank you so much, Shalvah. You have given us a wonderful talk today. And I hope everybody has everybody's really taken the key of note of those nuggets. Consistency, discipline, those are the keys to being an effective leader, and having something that grounds you, whether it's Christianity, whether it's some sort of governing law within you that really directs and shapes and orders your steps. Shalvah, thank you so much. We're going to move on to the next speaker this afternoon. So, ladies, I hope you have been blessed as I am, and I hope you have gained from this as much as I have. This is honestly so exciting for me and so timely. Our next speaker is EmpowHERment Saleh, a media tech entrepreneur. I'm sure she'll have to correct me when she comes on, and I'm so sorry. She's a media tech entrepreneur